Alright, so this is Joy from joysutton.com costuming. I wanted to do a quick little technical demo for something that I see a lot of questions asked about on forums. And that's how to dry brush so something looks more like weathered metal. Now, the essence of dry brushing is you're going to have a flat color in the background. This is a dark brown. It may not be showing up on the camera. I apologize if it isn't, but this is actually a super dark brown. This is Tester's rubber that I'm using as my base because I'm going to be using a yellow type of metal, so your gold, brass, bronze. If I were doing silver, this would be gray. And the idea is to take this and turn it into this, so that it looks like a piece of metal that has been well worn. It has lots of tarnish and dirt and just age in the edges, but all of the high areas where it might be touched or rubbed against something has been buffed to this high shine so that it has real dimension and looks really accurate. So when you're doing this, it's called a dry brush. So you want to start with a dry brush, one you don't care too much about, just in case you leave the paint on there for too long. And I am using enamels, so they do tend to ruin brushes. What you're going to do is take your paint, shake it up real good, especially since you're using a metallic to do this. And what you're going to want to do is get just a touch of paint. Usually I start by just tapping in the cap, and then take just scrap card and rub your brush on there until it feels like there's nothing left on there. Then take your piece and start brushing it very lightly, back and forth. And I usually stay on one plane, so I'm staying horizontal with my strokes. This will be how it's looked like this piece has been rubbed. Now, as you see, even though it looked like there was no paint left on that brush, there's still a fair amount, and it's starting to transfer onto all the raised areas. You can see it's even catching some of the base here. This is where it would have rubbed off if this were an actual metal piece instead of a piece of plastic that's been painted. Now, when you start running out of gold, you see it's not really transferring too much anymore. Just tap a little bit more, rub off the excess, and do again. And you just keep adding up layer after layer of this until you get to the point where you like it. Now, this is supposed to be heavily antiqued, so I'm not going to hit it up too heavily. I just want to get the high points. And you'll see here, this is a three-dimensional piece. Right here is a place where it would get rubbed a lot, because this is that folded over edge. So here, I'm going to switch my plane of brushing. Rub off all that paint, and now I'm going to go up and down. And that's going to start to catch the underside. So that's going to catch the places that aren't necessarily raised, but would probably start to get rubbed off more and more as this thing got handled and used. So you definitely want to think about these things. If you are handling this piece, and this is going to go on the back of the knife like this, this area would probably get rubbed a lot. So you want to be sure that those places that are going to get handprints on them and are going to get people messing with them or rubbed against a costume or whatever, you want to give it that illusion that it's been kind of buffed and that's gotten rid of some of that tarnish. So it's just sort of having a little bit of forward thinking about what you're working on, what kind of a look you want to have. So just a little bit more. You can see it's picking up all those little high points on this resin cast. I'll switch back to the horizontal as we cut across. So you can see this gives this nice buffed approach. Really excellent looking. Lots of dimension, gives it a lot of real character. And it started out as this very basic brown. So dry brushing, very useful technique. It doesn't take very long. If I weren't doing this as a tutorial, I would have been done by this 5 minutes ago. Very quick. The other option you can do is what's called an ink wash, where you start out with it painted gold, as bright as you can get, and then you carefully go in with this brown that we started with in this step, diluted down with some thinner, and you would paint it into all of these little creases and crevices, being careful not to hit the gold too much, and it's pretty time consuming but can also create a very beautiful effect. And depending on what you're going for, you may need to use a combination of dry brushing and ink wash techniques. So I hope this has been helpful to someone. I know that it's a question that's asked a lot, and everyone seems to inherently know what dry brushing is, but there's very few technical demos to really show you what's going on. So hope this has helped someone. Look forward to more tutorials, and be sure to visit my site. Thanks!